Here's the video review for Bandai DX Chogokin VF-25S Ozma Custom. This is the armored version, and I'm going to do a video with the armor once my Alto gets here, if it ever gets here. That's a completely different issue. Showing off kind of like what I'm going to do with the super parts, where I put it on one and show it off in jet mode and then show it off in robot mode. But if you want to get a quick idea, here's one of the thrusters it attaches on. Much bigger thruster. One of the leg armors. It goes on. It's going to attach down here with the missile pods. It's very cool when it's all armored up. And like I said, that video will be coming soon. But here we're going to detail the base model Ozma VF-25S. As you see, Ozma Lee is the leader of Skull Squadron, and has a very neat skull logo there on the back of the jet, which is very cool. You can kind of see the head here with the head antenna. You see the gun pod stored underneath the jet in jet mode. Just like all the others, you can open up the cockpit and there's a little pilot figure of Ozma there inside the cockpit. Close that. But overall, it's a very nice, sleek looking jet fighter. Very cool. The landing gear do fold up. You can close those panels just like that. Pull the fold up landing gear here. And again, I also have, I want to bring that ring. There is also the base. Again, you open up the tab right here. You just plug that on, and you've got Ozma there displayed in jet fighter mode on the base. So it makes for a nice display in fighter mode. Let me get the base. Piece it down. Okay. Now, there's a nice, well, not nice, but there is a Garrock mode form on here. And to get to that, you want to unhook the legs from the wings, just lift them up. There's a little peg here on the bottom of the wing that pegs into a hole there on the back of the leg. You can see it, there you go. Excuse me, I'm a little stuffy. I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum in the video, but if I cough or sneeze, I apologize. Pull the gun pod off the bottom and then pull the little connector. It should just snap right off onto there. Then you want to bring the legs down like this. Feet. I'm going to try to do this the official way and then show you the better way to do it. Now pull this piece off the back here. That's going to be a shield for his arm, and then you want to bring these hip armor pieces down just like that. Pull the arms around. You want to rotate this all the way around so that you can kind of see the 5 dots on it facing forward, and then bring the shoulder down. Now in my other review I mentioned that you couldn't leave the fists on, and apparently certain fists you can. You can't put the open hand in there, but you can have the gun hands actually on the arms, and it's a tight fit, but it will still fit under the shield in the back, so that's actually nice. So thank you for pointing that out to me. Again, bring this down, around like that. Around the way here. And there is, if you leave everything connected, there's the official Garrock mode. It's a little sturdier, just because you do keep the hips locked in. Up here, we'll go ahead and again extend his gun. Bring around, go ahead and transform this into his gun mode. Just like that, and put it in his hand. And the hands do pop off. The hands are, you get 6 different hands, a pair of the flat hands that are normally used for fighter mode, a pair of open fists to hold weapons, a pair of closed fists like you see on this left arm there, and then a pair of kind of open palm hands. So there is, according to the manual, the official Gearwalk mode. And it's not bad. Usually Gearwalk has the legs facing a little further forward, has a little bit more of a solid A-frame stance. More legs angled out to the side a little more. But if you do it like this, it is actually a good solid mode. Unlike some of the ones I've shown before, aside from sometimes the ankles like to tilt forward if you bump it. But if you don't mess with it, you will stand there very solidly in Gearwalk mode. If you want a little more dynamic Gearwalk mode, you can unhook the hips from right there and kind of tilt them up and use the tips of the exhaust, or the thrusters, the intakes here, to support the body. And unhooking those will allow you to angle the legs out a little bit. You can bring them a little bit more forward. And just generally get a more dynamic looking Gearwalk, more screen accurate looking Gearwalk mode. And depending on, and again, there's some quality control issues with the joints in the leg. Here Ozma, and they seem to have fixed it. Both the Ozmas I've had, which have been the Armored Custom, seem to have tightened those hip joints up a little bit. Like I've gotten much sturdier Gearwalk modes from the Ozmas than from the first release of some of these figures. So they've certainly improved the quality of joints on them. Although there is still, quality control variances. You could get one with loose hips. If you get one with looser hips, it's a little harder to pull something like this off, because if they're floppy right here on these joints, it's hard to keep them to stand up. But that's actually a very, very nice Gearwalk mode, and nice and sturdy in that mode too. Thanks to those tight hip joints. Those hip joints are really what make the difference between whether you can pull off this more dynamic pose or if you need to leave them locked into the body. If you leave them locked in, it is a nice sturdy Gearwalk, regardless. But I think this is just being able to get those legs out a little bit more makes for a much cooler Gearwalk display. And then to continue on to robot, or Batroid mode, you've already got this tab up from the stand. You want to slide this panel up right there. Go ahead, come under here, lift this up, fold these little fins in, and again, lift this panel up and fold that little black and yellow fin into the leg. Extend the ankles and flip out the feet. Bring the hip armor down. You want to come under here, open up this landing gear. You don't want to pull the landing gear out, just open up these panels and then fold the nose cone down. You want to make sure, it'll fold down like that. You want to make sure you fold it at both joints so it sits kind of straight across from there. Then you can bring this down, plug this into here. Again, you have to use both of the double joints there at the hips. Snap the intakes back onto the upper thighs. And you want to take the back part here, start to fold this down, and you want to slide. It helps sometimes if you get your finger up under here to slide the whole assembly up and out to get his head up. Bring this down right here like this. Then you want to lift the chest piece up, and the cockpit piece rotates all the way around like that. And then up under here. And for some reason, I don't know why, Ozma always has a bit of a problem getting this locked up in here, more so than the other robots. But once you get this under there we go. And this tab does like to come undone during transformation, but once you get it all locked together, it is quite sturdy. Just bring these panels down, the arms down, fold these flat, fold these in, fold the wings back. And there you have Ozma in Batroid mode. Now, one of the complaints on the initial release of this was that just due to the way Ozma's head is on there, it barely, there's not much of a neck. It barely clears the armor here, the chest plate. And it's hard to turn it because if you turn it, the chin really can't turn over the side. Just the whole lower half of the head gets in the way. But with the armored release, Bandai did thoughtfully include a little spacer piece. So you pop this off the ball joint here. You take this little spacer piece right here. Now, it's kind of hard to do because you've got a ball joint here, you're plugging it into a ball joint here, and then there's also a ball joint at the bottom of this shaft where the neck meets the body. So you're basically working with 3 ball joints to snap this together. But I found it's easiest if you take this spacer and plug it into the head first. You can plug it on here, but it's a whole lot easier if you just plug this directly into the head first. And then I usually tilt this back a little bit, line that up, and pop it into place. See, it still didn't work. Yeah, like I said, it's when you get it on, it's a good solution. It does give the neck that extra space it needs to look okay on the body, and give him the ability to turn his head without having to look up to do it. But it's a functional solution. It's not the most elegant solution, and I'm kind of wondering why they didn't just see if they could redesign the neck or just how it all assembles, because and you can't leave that spacer in for fighter or Garwalk modes. When you have the head folded up, it has to come out. So when you have to do that every time you transform it, it's a little bit of a pain. It does work though, and it does really improve the overall look of the final figure, so it's hard to complain too much about it, but it is still a flaw and something that I wish had been done a little better on the figure. And again, the stand, you can take the parts off that were used to display Jet, pull this whole spire out, flip it around like that, and slide it back on. And then you take this kind of saddle looking piece, it plugs in right here underneath the robot, and then you can plug that onto the stand and display them on the stand in Batroid mode. So very, very cool. Somebody else requested a close-up of all the different faces, so I'll give you the ones of the 3 I have right now. There's a good close-up shot of Ozma's head, which I think is one of my favorite head sculpts in the line. I'll move this back just a little bit so I can get these in. There's Mikhail's head, kind of a monocular, almost vaguely shockwave-ish, the aliens from the old original War of the Worlds, if you've ever seen that. He does have this little flippable antenna. You can have that pointed up more if you'd like for display. And here's Luca's head, which again is kind of bug-like with its antenna. Just to get a good look at what the heads look like on the various mechs. And Alto I'll show off whenever he gets here. But there you go. There's the Bandai Chogokin DX VF-25S Ozma Custom.